Good morning, gang. Good morning. Welcome back to this week's altcoin update. First and foremost, remember, nothing discussed today is financial advice. It's just for educational purposes only. And now that's out of the way, let's jump into the charts and get to what you're here for, and that's some zero bullshit TA. Okay, so first and foremost, we're going to start off with Link. Then we're going to cover XLM, and then we're going to cover GALA, because they are the requests that we've had this week. Obviously, if you guys want an altcoin covering, by the way, next week, then either let us know down in the comments below, or follow us on Twitter, links down in the description, and we put a post up every Monday so you guys can reply to that and tell me what you want me to chart. And obviously, the more altcoins you list, the more I'll be charting, so the longer the video. Right, so 3 today. So let's bring back previous TA. Here we go. Link. Again, there's still a lot of chatter about Link on the timeline. You know, the Twitter's still going mad for it. Yeah, there's whatever news events happening. Again, I really couldn't care less. But obviously, there's a lot of people extremely bullish right now. And it's to be understandable, because mass psychology states that obviously when you do start coming up towards these range highs, bear in mind, obviously, we've still got a little bit more that we could push to, then people seem to get extremely bullish. Just like when price comes down towards range lows, people get extremely bearish, and it's just standard psychology. And once you understand how psychology works in trading, it makes your trading a hell of a lot easier, because it means that you don't get FOMO when you're up here and look to break out long, and it means that you don't try to short the market at range low, because you understand how it works. We're caught in sideways price action. Okay, so what am I looking for here? Well, first and foremost, obviously, we've not hit range high. And one thing that's at the back of my mind right now is above these highs, we've got liquidity. Okay. So anyone that's managed to successfully short, and again, all valid shorts, absolutely fine. If you've shorted this one, played it down to the range low, great. Shorted this one, obviously anyone that's in our group know that we had a nice hefty short on the back of this. Came down. And then now we're starting to hover around, and we're just hovering around at value area high right now. So if we do come up into these range highs, we've got stop losses. We know we've got stop losses above this. We know we've got stop losses above this. So therefore, there's resting liquidity above. So my first initial thoughts would be if, and again, this is all if this, then that, because nobody knows what's going to happen. And I'm getting a bit bored of people saying, oh, they predicted the market exactly. And no, it's if this, then that. So if price comes up into this zone here, what I'll be looking for up here is either a straightforward rejection off the range high, which effectively just be taking out these highs here. Straightforward rejection, local change of market structure, seeing some signs of bearishness, then I'll be getting involved in shorts. That'd be option number 1. Now, option number 2 would be a more preferred option, in my opinion, because not only we've got liquidity here, but we've also got liquidity above these highs. So if we do start to come up here and we get no reaction within this zone, but we start to come out of here, out of this local range, taking out these stops, then getting that nice change of structure, then I'll be looking to get involved in a short trade. And again, up at this point here, now this is where the mass FOMO will kick in. Taking out these highs, everyone will then start screaming for new all-time highs. Bullish structure. But if we do see that sign of weakness up here, then yes, I will probably be looking for shorts if I'm given a setup. If I'm not given a setup, then fair enough, I won't be looking for shorts. But if I start to see that local change of market structure, I'll start to see a lot of people piling in fresh longs here, but price is failing to push higher. What's the market trying to do? They're trying to push up. Are they doing a good job? No. Well, in that case, I'll be looking for shorts. And then I'll just continue trading this range that we're in. So that's to the upside. Now, what happens if it starts to roll over from here and starts to come down? Well, first and foremost, we've got a little support zone just below us. We've also got arguably another support zone just below this as well, which is roughly around 687, call it for easy numbers. So if this does hold, comes back down, holds, then potentially we can still be trading the top section of the range. If, however, that doesn't hold and this does start to roll over, then first and foremost, we've got this sticky zone here to contend with, which we've got plenty of volume down here, value area low, And we've got to see if that gives us a reaction. If that doesn't give us a reaction, then unfortunately, for anyone that's overly bullish, then I'll be looking to come back down to at least the range lows and see what happens there. If the range lows hold, great, cool, gives us a trigger, which then effectively will be taking out these stops. There's a trigger for the long. If not, then we'll let it roll over. And then if it does roll over, then we're going to be looking at running these stops. We're just looking where the liquidity is in the market. But this is a crucial time, in my opinion. This is crucial. Because so far, what we've seen is, obviously, we've seen high, lower high, lower high. Now, this is the question mark one. Is this another lower high? Or is this finally going to take out the high and maybe change some market structure? Okay. And then, therefore, this becomes a higher low compared to this. But so far, we need to see this change before we can start changing as opinions on this. But even if this does change and it comes up into that range high, those plans still remain the same. Those plans don't change. Just because it's changed from local market structure, it doesn't mean I'm not going to be naturally looking for shorts in this region if I'm given the setup. If I'm not giving up a setup, then I'll let it run. Or if I'm not given a setup and it drops without me, absolutely fine. I couldn't care less. A mistrade is fine. But there's the plans. So we're still range bound. We're still range bound. So however you look at it, we are still in this sideways range. It's not bullish, it's not bearish. We're in the top section of the range. So naturally, shorts are the play. Okay? But only if we're given the setup. Right, next. XLM. I've not looked at this for a long time. Oof, get that for a chart. So this is one, obviously, the old boomer coins. It did well on its first release back in 2017, 2018. Didn't do well the last cycle that we've just been through. And again, I put this on par with the XRPs and anything like that. One thing, and I think people need to realise this, anyone that's potentially only come around into crypto within the last bull cycle and the one around for the previous cycle, don't hang on to old coins. Don't hang on to old coins. Don't put all your faith in these older coins. So the coins that will perform well in this next cycle that's to come, whenever it starts, likely haven't been created yet. Yes, now I'm not saying these old coins won't do well, because at the end of the day, this coin still did over 1,000% to the upside. Okay, so I'm not saying that they won't perform, but they won't perform as well as brand new shiny altcoins that come onto the market. People seem to get so hooked, like the XRP following. People are so hung up on XRP going up, but the amount of people that are trapped up at the highs on XRP, naturally it's going to cause selling as price rises. Because people are going to try to get out of the positions at break even that they've been holding on to for years. Same with a coin like XLM. And don't get fixated on trying to accumulate these old coins when it's likely going to be the newer coins that do well this cycle. This next cycle to come, just like what happened this time. Sol, Luna, probably a really bad example, but any of the coins like that did extremely well, and they were brand new to last cycle. They weren't around back then. So any dino coins, they lose interest. People don't have the interest. Right, now I've had my little rant out of the way. Hopefully you've learned a little bit from that. But okay, so I'm looking at this, and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to use the old range fib tool. And there we go. We've got a lovely range. Okay. It's the beauty of this range fib tool is the fact that people look at this and be like, well, where's the range? Is the range down here? Is the range here? Is the range here? But the beauty of the range fib tool is it encapsulates the whole thing. So we can see where the range is and where the deviations are. So my thought process right now, where we are currently, we're currently in no man's land right now. So we're between the EQ and we're between the range low. So if you were a smart trader, there's nothing on. High time frame here, there's nothing on for a setup right now. What I'm going to do is I'm also going to throw it on at the old volume profile because I want to see where the bulk of the volume is within this range. And there we go. And we can see. So from here, where would I be interested in? Well, quite simply, you can see this. If price rolls over, fills out this wick, comes down into this range low / just below it, because we've got this liquidity just below it, and we get this reaction here, change your market structure locally, then there's a long trigger, because then you're long in the range low, then you've had the range formed, you've had the deviation, you've had acceptance back into the range, come back up to the top deviation, they come back down, EQ, back tested the EQ, and now we're hovering down here. So if we come down back towards the range low, and it gives us that setup coming into this sticky zone down here after retracing this whole thin move up that we've had, then I'd be interested in longs. Now what happens if that doesn't hold? Well, if that doesn't hold and it rolls over even further, then you can see where the point of control is. The point of control is down at this outer deviation, so that would be my next area. Does this give me a reaction or not? Bear in mind, it's quite thin here, but it is the point of control of the entire range, and bear in mind this range is going back since May last year. Okay, so it's a long time is this range, very well established range now. So if it comes down here, then outer deviation. Now if that outer deviation and that point of control doesn't hold, then it'll be looking back down, next deviation. And if that doesn't hold, then we're going to be looking at grabbing the lows. At least these lows, but I'd prefer these lows. So that's to the downside. Oh, what happens if it just starts pumping now and I'm completely wrong and we don't come down and it starts to move up? Well, if it starts to move up, starts taking out this wick here, then we've got the EQ to contend with. What happens at the EQ? Do we come back up into the EQ, get a rejection? We've got a short trigger. Or we'll come back up at the EQ, we get no reaction, we flip the EQ, then once again I'm looking back up at the range highs. And it's as simple as that. If I'm coming up towards the range highs, then I'm looking what happens up here. If something happens, then I've got my short trigger. If nothing happens, I meant to do that one. If nothing happens, then we can look coming up. Likelihood is if we start clearing these deviations there, then we can start looking up at some higher targets. But for now, just like most other things on the market, we're range bound. We're in a sideways range. Not overly bullish, not overly bearish. Okay? So that's XLM. Next, before we get on to GALA, quick shout out from today's video sponsor. Today's video sponsor is BingX. If you don't know BingX are a crypto exchange. They've been sponsoring our channel for quite a few months now. You can not only trade crypto, but you can also trade FX, commodities, stock indices, and the beauty of these guys is you can use crypto as collateral. So obviously if you do want to trade an FX pair like GBP, USD, or Eurodollar, then you can use crypto as your collateral. Okay, so this is where I trade most of my FX, and I also trade a lot of my stocks and indices on here. So obviously if you guys want to sign up, then there's up to a $5,000 deposit bonus on the go. There's also a trading competition right now, which honestly I'm yet to look into. And the beauty of these guys is an OKYC exchange. So obviously there's a lot of noise at the moment. You guys know that I trade on Bybit, and a lot of guys in the group trade on Bybit, but obviously they are going to be pulling out of the UK soon. So BingX is a not bad alternative. Okay. So yeah, if you want to check them out, links down in the description below. And before we move on to GALA, obviously, if you guys want to understand how I trade and obviously get access to my daily plans, then first and foremost, come over to our website, spitfiretraders.com. Link to our free Discord is down here. And obviously, if you do want access to all the educational content, then it'll cost you the grand old price of $59.95 Great British Pounds, or $75 US. And within that, you get access to all of our modules, all of our cheat sheets, all of our templates, and obviously the private Discord. And within that, here's a snapshot of some of the modules that we've got. We've got well over 30 modules now. Tonight, we are going to be finishing off our journaling and data review. Basically, the idea of these modules is once you hit the brick wall in trading, which we all hit, you know, you understand the technical analysis, you understand the setups, but you're not quite there yet being consistently profitable. And you're still relying on others and other charts, and you're still relying on signals perhaps, then this next module that we do tonight is effectively going to teach you how to use your journal to answer your own questions and improve your game, so you can take yourself from an average trader, or maybe just trading water, into a profitable trader. So that's the whole idea. What I want to do is I want to teach you guys how to fend for yourself. I don't want you to be reliant upon me giving my trading updates every day. I want you guys to understand how to do it yourself. Okay, so it's going to be a very, very big live stream tonight. We're also going to be taking a deep dive into my own trading journal, so you guys can have a sneak peek at the sort of data that I record. Now that's out of the way, let's look at GALA. Okay, so GALA, there we go. Right, I'll just throw this on log so I can see this a little bit clearer. Right, so there's two key levels I want on GALA. Looking at this straight away, there's that one there, and there's, realistically, there's that one there. There. I'll come out of log, and we zoom in. Okay, so where we are right now. We're starting, now again, this is the daily chart. We're starting potentially to change some local structure. That's the daily chart. If we draw a line across here, we've come up to this level, and obviously this high caused a new low on the daily. We've come back up into it, and we've rejected, and now we're starting to peak our head above it. Okay, so does this mean I'll be longing this? Well, no, because then you'd be technically logging a breakout of a very small time frame range down here, so I wouldn't be interested in that. But what I would be interested in is if this can continue up, flip this level into support, and then continue up. Again, low time frame, you've got an opportunity to trade within this small range here, but I'd be less interested in that, being perfectly honest. What I'd want to see is this low. So what I'd want to see ideally is flip this low into support, taking out these highs without a significant pullback right here. Then I'd be interested in a long trigger. And where would I be doing it? Well, I'll be doing this level to level initially, because right now I'd be more interested in coming up to this region. Okay, purely doing this on market structure rather than anything else. This is what I'd be interested in seeing. So if we can flip this bottom level where we are right now. Okay, again, I'm not interested in daily closures. I'm not interested in weekly closures or anything like that, because candle closures are, yeah, it's just not worth it. And it's a very old school way of thinking. You know, people see a triangle and they say, well, if you get a daily candle close outside this triangle, that means it's game on to the upside. But how many times do we see you get a daily candle close outside of said triangle and then you just roll over while all the FOMO breakout longers get absolutely destroyed? This is why I'm not a massive fan of candle closures. I'm more of a fan of market structure. So if we start flipping this, that'll be step number one. And then step number two, I want to see it get back above this line here, which is coming in at what, 0.01996. Can't be bothered reading a lot of all the numbers. Start to flip this and then head our way up. Then I'd be interested in looking for longs. Okay, likelihood is on a lower time frame than the daily that I'm looking at right now. And if that is the case, then I'll be looking at playing this up level to level. First and foremost, this is a key high here, and then followed by these range highs. And what I'd be looking for is an established range to come in within this. If you've got an established range within this, then happy days, we've got a tradable range. If this doesn't happen, and this starts to roll over, let's get rid of some of these squiggles, and we don't manage to flip this properly, and we start to roll over, then it's game on to the downside. And where do we stop? Who knows? But what I want to see effectively, if this does continue down, I only want to get back involved once it starts changing market structure. Ideally on a daily, because this is the chart that I'm looking at right now. And right now, where we are, this is the first potential opportunity that we've got to make that happen. Because since then, it's just been down, 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 down. The whole time, down, down, down. So I want to see some sort of sign of strength. So this is an option. But once again, personally, I wouldn't be longing this right now, because I wouldn't be longing a breakout of this local range. If we zoom in right here, it's coming to the 4 hour, we'll be able to see this a little bit more clearly. This is effectively a range that you've got going on down here. There's your highs, realistically, and there's your lows with a deviation. So I wouldn't be longing here, personally, because that's longing a breakout, and that's just not how I work. Okay, so I'd want to see this, flip this, hold this into support, then make it way and ideally get above this line here. Then I might be interested in trying to find an established range to trade. And that's it. That's it. That's GALA. Right, how long have we been going on now? 19 minutes? Wow, we've gone on for a while. Right, hopefully you've learned something new today amongst all my ramblings. If you have, hit that like button. If you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. And if you want an altcoin covering next time, let us know down in the comments or follow us over on Twitter. And until next time, gang, as you were.